Hello, welcome to Access. I'm Rob. Joining us is Dave.
Hello.
Dave, I've played Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain for about 8 hours.
Oh, you show off.
A whole day.
I'm surprised you've been able to
it.
contain yourself this long.
I know. Well, we're allowed to talk about it now.
Thank God.
And we're going to talk about 5 things you need to know
Okay.
about The Phantom Pain, because even hardcore Metal Gear fans are going to be surprised, I think, by this game. Yes.
Well, you should know, Rob.
Well, I should know. And the first thing I want to talk about is the size of it.
Okay.
We all know it's an open world. We all heard it was 200 times bigger than Ground Zeroes, which sounds impressive, but I don't really think that number gives you an idea of the scale of this game.
Yeah.
I only got to play in Afghanistan. I didn't get to the next area, which we've seen in some of the trailers. There's like an African area, like a more jungly environment, but I was mucking about in Afghanistan, and I would compare it, if you think about maybe the hinterlands in Dragon Age Inquisition, or maybe like Velen from The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
It's that kind of size.
Okay.
It's massive.
Right.
And you've got quite sizable bases in there, some of which are comparable to the size of Camp Omega and Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
And then you've got like smaller bases, and then you've got like little outposts, little guard outposts that are often on the junctions of roads and things, and all of it kind of works together. Like you if you do something, an outpost, and you disturb some guards there, they'll radio for help at the big base, and reinforcements will come from the base and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's massive.
Is it all open to you from the start?
Yes. Yeah, you can go wherever you like.
Okay.
So there are story missions that you can do. You get given like 2 or 3 at a time. You can pick what order you want to do them in, or you can just free roam it.
Right.
You can go and completely free roam, but I wouldn't recommend you do that. I would recommend you actually go and do the story and start, building stuff up, because we'll talk about it later in this video, but that's how you get better stuff, basically. And, and the more stuff you have, the more fun options you have to play around in free roam mode.
Yeah.
And you get around on a horse. You'll have seen the horse in all the trailers, but also you can, by the end of it, you can have vehicles, jeeps, tanks.
Yes.
It's huge and brilliant. And even the story, because if you're worried about it being like a load of little broken up missions and not really lasting that long, a guy from Konami came into the room when we were playing and said he's about to finish the story, and he's been playing the game for about 50 hours.
Wow.
And he said his overall completion was about 52%.
Oh my God.
So you could be looking at upwards of 100 hours of gameplay.
That's amazing.
Which for a Metal Gear game, considering Metal Gear Solid 1 is finishable in 5 hours, maybe less.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Second most important point, the key thing in Metal Gear Phantom Pain I found was information.
Right.
Information gleaned from interrogating enemy soldiers.
Okay.
Because they will tell you where loads of cool things are, like story-specific objectives, like if you're trying to, extract a weapon maybe, or destroy a certain target within a base, and you don't know where it is. One of the most effective ways to find out where it is to sneak up on a man, grab him around the neck and interrogate him, and he will tell you where it is. But they also tell you where things like blueprints are, and blueprints you can then send to Mother Base to get your staff creating new weapons. Or he could tell you where like a specific weapon just for that area is. You could be told where like a specialist soldier is. Sometimes you can recruit soldiers with special abilities who are suited to a certain team on your Mother Base, and it's just I
really love that. I love that is so different, like quite often in games you'd get some points or something for interrogating someone. You interrogate someone and you got some points, you got some credits or something, a currency. This is actually information that can change the way that you play, completely give you a whole new perspective on your objective and stuff.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
You can also tell them to call their friends over. Or you can also say, where are your friends? So they'll give you the position of patrol routes on your map, or your iDroid it's called. So getting information out of guards is really crucial. And if you get a really good picture on your map of where everything is, that really helps you when you're planning how you're going to infiltrate somewhere. It's really cool. One of the things that I thought was amazing was initially everyone was speaking in Russian, because the occupying forces in Afghanistan are Russian. They're Russian soldiers. And they're all speaking in Russian. You can't understand a word anyone is saying. So you'll be interrogating people, and you're like, what's this? And Ocelot will get on your radio and say, you need to you need to extract an English-speaking Russian soldier so we can translate everything everyone is saying. So you then have to go and find English-speaking guy. So when you zoom in on binoculars, they also act as like a directional microphone. So you've got to look at people, listen to the conversations they have with each other, and one of them will speak in English. You're like, he's an English speaker. You go in and you extract him, and all of a sudden, when the Russian dialogue is happening, all of a sudden English subtitles appear at the bottom of the screen, and you can understand what people are saying.
I don't know why, but that is one of the coolest things I've ever heard about a game.
It's just something someone's thought of that, and that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Because Snake wouldn't understand Russian.
That's a brilliant attention to detail.
It's just really, really cool. The third point, building your base, your mother base, is really, really important. We've talked about recruiting specialist soldiers, but you can also recruit and extract gear and vehicles. You can't do that instantly. Like if you try and attach your initial Fulton balloon to a Jeep, it will snap and break because it's not strong enough. So you do have to upgrade your Fulton recovery system, and you do that by utilizing your R&D department back at mother base. So you recruit soldiers, put them in the R&D department, and they can develop weapons for you. You can upgrade Snake's little mechanical arm, so you can fire it off like a rocket later on in the game.
Wow.
You can upgrade things like your cardboard box. Your initial cardboard box is just a basic cardboard box. Later on, you can get special cardboard boxes with pictures of ladies on, like in the trailer, that Snake can use to distract guards. But yeah, you can upgrade your Fulton recovery system, and you can extract, sheep, horses, jeeps, tanks.
It's amazing.
It's so exciting as well. You make new weapons, and that gives you obviously loads more options.
It struck me when I think it was last E3 when we had a presentation on their mother base. Maybe that was when they revealed the mother base sort of system in the game, and it sort of slowly dawned on me how ridiculously it's like a whole game in itself. The whole mother base part of the game is just massive. Building your base, I didn't realize that you can choose what soldiers are doing there, like going into the R&D department, for instance, like moving resources around and stuff, building your base, being in the field and thinking that would be good for my base, and then having people being able to invade it, back leaving it and to fend for itself, as it were, whilst you go off. And
I mean, my playthrough was completely offline, so I didn't get to try out any of that multiplayer base building stuff, so I can only guess at how exciting that's going to be. But you can expand your base, you can build more of it, so it gets physically bigger, as well as just having more recruits there. And a funny little thing I like is whenever you go there, everyone salutes you and you go, "Hi, boss." They're all very pleased to see you, and they want you to train with them, which basically means they want you to hit them. So you go in and you practice your CQC and you'll smack them about, and they go, "Thanks for that, boss. It's an honor." So you've just smacked him on the floor, which I just found really funny. The fourth point is the point about tactical freedom. It's another thing that's mentioned in the trailers, and you're thinking, that's just a nice trailer point, unlimited tactical freedom. But the amount of freedom you do have is incredible. Like the fact that it's open world really lends itself to this. One example was I had to get inside a base, quite a sizable base, get a certain piece of information and get out again. And when you arrive there, you can choose what time of day you want to arrive. You can either be dropped off at like 6 in the morning, or you can be dropped off at 6 in the evening. Whether you want daylight or darkness, you can then use your Phantom cigar, your e-cigar, to be more precise with the time. But because it's open world, you can enter it pretty much from any angle. You can go behind it, to the side, and a cool thing to do, if you like me, I like to really take my time with Metal Gear, is just sit on a hill with my binoculars and just look at it, map all the guards, and then move to another vantage point, and just slowly, you can do that for ages, work out what the best way is to get in and to get out again. And you've also got to get in there and knock a few guards out, get the information from them. And even if you get spotted, usually when you get spotted in Metal Gear, it's, I'll make the most of this, but this is, probably game over now. I've ruined this. There's always something you can do. There's always like an option. And because you've got Mother Base behind you, you can ask for like weapon drops. So if you find yourself all of a sudden in a situation where you've got guards swarming all over you and all you've got is a tranquilizer gun, you can request like an assault rifle. And they will send like a a supply drop in on a parachute.
Yeah.
You can ask where you want it. And there was one instance where I was just running away with no weapons, a bunch of guards chasing me, and the parachute with an assault rifle just drops on the floor. You get it, turn around, and all of a sudden you're in an amazing firefight.
Yeah.
Or if an objective comes up that you weren't expecting, like you have to blow up some targets or something, and you're, I've not got any C4. I didn't pick C4 in my loadout. You just request C4, it gets dropped off. And it's not just weapons and equipment, you can request vehicles to be dropped off as well. Wow. Oh, you need a tank, please.
Yeah.
Tank incoming. And
that's amazing.
It's so cool. And other things, just like you said, mucking about and experimenting. You can upgrade your helicopter as well, so it has weapons on it. And there was one instance where I had to get into an area that was being protected by an enemy gunship, just patrolling the area with a massive searchlight. So I just called in my helicopter and just pointed at the map where I wanted it, and they obviously thought they were coming in to extract me.
Yeah.
But as soon as my helicopter saw the enemy helicopter, they just fought.
Yeah.
My helicopter won. Yeah. And it just get a little message on the radio, gunship down.
Nice.
Like, yes.
It's one of those games that I think that it's where you're going to have the opportunity to think, I wonder if I can do this, and and try out, and you will be able to, try out loads and loads and loads of things. You're going to have those conversations with people with like, how did you do this mission? And something you never even thought of.
Yeah.
Like you're going to, I think people will start playing it and just won't have any idea of the options available to them, and it will slowly start becoming, apparent. It happened with Ground Zeroes, to be honest. I remember last year when we had our E3 presentation, and Snake was like in a base and got spotted, and suddenly it was all kicking off, and there was a helicopter, and it was like, how are we going to deal with this helicopter? And the way they did it was to attach some C4 to a Jeep and use the fault and recovery system as the helicopter was flying above it to pull the Jeep into the air, and then as it went past the helicopter, it exploded the Jeep and took out the helicopter. That's just mind-blowing, like that you can do that in a game. That sort of breadth of tactical option is just ridiculous.
It does feel like they've thought of everything. Like I had instances where I was extracting guards, and because I hadn't put them to sleep, they were dangling in the air. There's like a 5-second period where the balloon just dangles in the air before it gets hoisted up, and they're there screaming, like, help, oh my god, what the hell's going on? And instantly all their mates are like, what the hell's going on? They just see this guy going up into the air, and they'll all be on their radios. Johnny's just been lifted into the air by a balloon.
Oh my god.
Everyone starts coming
so
around.
Good.
And instantly everyone's, and if you do too much stuff, like the whole area will just be on lockdown. Like the whole of Afghanistan will be on high alert, and then that makes it a lot harder. But the fifth and final point I wanted to stress is, despite the fact it's got all this stuff in it, all this new amazing ways to play Metal Gear, it still very much feels like a Metal Gear game. It's still full of mad, eccentric story stuff. Some weird paranoia. I'm not going to go into any specifics because spoiling it is the last thing I want to do. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Proper Kojima style crazy.
Right.
And just the moment-to-moment gameplay of sneaking into bases, while it's bigger and more expansive than ever before, it still feels really intimate and tense.
Yeah.
This whole world all of a sudden will shrink down to a building and, a corridor leading up to it, or a road, and you can see a guard coming, and you're just crouching behind this wall looking at him like, oh my god, is he going to see me? Because you're backed into a corner, and he kind of slowly walks past, and that tension is always there. So it does still feel like a true classic Metal Gear game, just bigger than one has ever been before. And there you go.
I have one bonus question to ask you, and that's just, as someone who's not really played any Metal Gear before, am I going to be lost? Is it really dependent on you having played the other games, or is
I'd say this game less so than any other Metal Gear, actually, because the ratio of gameplay to story is far more gameplay in it this time, basically. Whereas before you're going down a corridor every few, and then you get a cutscene. This is, you can spend hours. There's so much fun to be had, even if you don't know what the story is, just mucking about in this world, sneaking around. And because it's a prequel, it's set after Metal Gear Solid 3, so knowing the story of Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker will certainly help you with the story here. But if you've not played those two games, then you're still going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it, I would say.
Brilliant.
So there you go. Hopefully we're going to see more at E3 of the Phantom Pain.
I can't wait.
So make sure you subscribe for that, give this video a like, and stay tuned for more Metal Gear on the channel.